What's going on, guys? So if you follow me at all, one of my recent videos was doing some work to my DR650, and in that I mentioned installing a JNS LED headlight and a comparison to a cheap knockoff headlight that I attempted to run. So today I'm going to do a video on comparing these two headlights. Just by looking at them, these two lights look almost identical. Obviously this one's got some wear on it, but other than that, and other than looking at the full DOT number here and just a DOT SAE on this one, they look almost identical. This is the JNS light. So you can see around the outside there's a thick steel frame that goes around all the way around, and then it's got some tabs, some spacers, and then a bracket that this is made for the DR650, maybe the DRZ400, but this mounting bracket with these adjuster slots is for the DR650. But this is how the JNS mounts. So you've got some threads made into the bracket on here, and then on this top slot to adjust the aim, you've got a slot with a nylock nut on each side. Standard H4, H7 style plug on it. Now looking at the knockoff light, there is no way to mount this. I actually used some stainless plate and some 4mm screws. The light that I got had some tapped holes already in it, so these screws just threaded right in. You can see I've got one slot here, and the little nut holder, I just designed and 3D printed this just to hold those nuts captive. So once you got it started, you wouldn't have to have a wrench in there. So again, standard H4, H7 style plug on it. But this is the differences between the two. They're roughly about the same depth. The fins on the back look a little more robust on the JNS, and this little area here is a little different. Both have the little vent on them, so they look very, very similar. This one, because of the bracket, it is a tad heavier. I don't know, maybe 8 ounces, half a pound or so different. But once I get these outside on the bike, I'll mount them up in the same position, bike in the same spot, aimed as close as I can get to identical, and I'll show you the difference in beam pattern. Okay, so this is the JNS Engineering DOT LED headlight, the rectangular one, and we'll just go key on. And so you can kind of see some cracks in the driveway. There's one here, and then one about right there. Those are about 12 feet apart. And so that would be your typical lane width of a standard road. And you can see the light spread of this headlight. Nice wide beam pattern. This is low beam, and we'll go to high beam. And just look how far out it's shining, and here's high beam. And so you can see how much it lights up, low beam versus high beam, how evenly spread the light pattern is. And now I'm going to unbolt this headlight and bolt on the knockoff imitation $30 on eBay lookalike light. Okay, so I've got the eBay knockoff installed, and let's turn it on. This is low beam. So it looks pretty bright. There, you can almost see some shadows like through this beam pattern. It's not as consistently bright across the beam pattern. Down along the outside edge of the beam pattern, there's kind of some stray beams of light. Even right down here by the front wheel. I'll tilt you down here in a minute, but right next to the front wheel, there's a ton of light that's just coming out right there. So beam pattern, not quite as consistent And now we'll go to the high beam. And there's some definite hot spots right through here and here, just kind of very streaky. It really looks like it's throwing a lot of light out there, but when you're going down the road, especially back roads, back curvy, twisty roads, when there's not a lot of other light around, I found this very insufficient lighting. The first time I rode with this light, I nearly ran off the road just because I almost missed a corner, which I knew was there. So I'm going to tilt the camera down here, just right by the front wheel. And you see how much light is getting out down here? There's tons of light just spilling by the front wheel. The lenses between the two lights, this knockoff light, is pretty poor. So here, we'll get a little side by side. We got low beam and high beam. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. Hopefully this gives you an idea of the difference in quality. My first thought and why I originally went with the eBay knockoff, because they look identical. I figured they were all being manufactured in the same factory in China, and JNS was just making a bracket for them. Now I know this is not the case. The JNS lights may be manufactured in a factory in China, but it appears they're being built to a different set of specifications, quality control something. At first I was like, man, I don't want to spend that much on a headlight. The only reason I was doing it is because my stock headlight, the glass got busted out by a rock. And so I was just trying to, I don't ride at night very often, so I was just trying to get something that wasn't broken. Trying to cheap out, and it just wasn't worth it. If you're looking for a replacement headlight, the JNS is definitely the way to go, because the stock OEM light is like $300 or something. I will post a link to the eBay light and the JNS light. I don't recommend the eBay light. If you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them down below. If you like what I do, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, we'll see you later.